Is it just me? Or am I the only one who gives a crap about this Asking Alexandria album? No AMP reviews? No Metal Meltdown? No Anthony Fantano? I gotta be the one that carries this load for this band? Okay, let's do it. Hey folks, welcome to Wheels of Mercury. And this review is a special one, as we're gonna review the new album from Asking Alexandria entitled, Where Do We Go From Here? Good question. For those of you that are not familiar with Asking Alexandria, and if you're younger, you probably don't realize how big of a freaking deal they were back in the early 2010s and late 2000s. Just to recap on their career, they started off as an electronic-core / metalcore band on their first couple records, Stand Up and Scream and Reckless and Relentless. And then in 2013, their singer Danny Worsnop did not want to do that style of vocals too much anymore. He was more into like 80s hard rock and hair metal. So for the 2013 album From Death to Destiny, they started off incorporating more radio rock elements. Think Shinedown, 80s bands like Def Leppard and Motley Crue and Poison and all that stuff. So Danny would leave the band and join Real Hard Rock, and the band would have a replacement in Ukrainian singer Denis Shaforostov, also known as Dennis Starr, and they would do their album The Black with him before splitting up with him rather acrimoniously. It's not determined whether he wanted the money for Asking Alexandria or the whole war thing with the Ukraine that is currently ramping up, that was just starting to ramp up back in 2016, very slowly. Whatever the case, it was a less than amicable split up for Dennis. Danny went back in the band and had 3 albums where they went further and further down the rabbit hole of Octane style, Shinedown style radio rock. Their last record, I unfortunately didn't review. See what's on the inside. I did not end up reviewing that record on the channel, but it ended up becoming a nomination in my personal Golden Wheel Awards for Best Hard Rock Album of 2021. So, now we got this album. It starts off with the song Bad Blood, and this song just sort of hits you in the face on an opener. I will say the blast beats in the chorus are kind of excessive. James doesn't need to go that hard, but at the same time I love that James Cassell, the drummer, is finally showing skill behind the kit after being restricted for like 2 or 3 albums. The final breakdown is the heaviest stuff that I've ever heard Asking Alexandria done in a long time. I thought that the death metal vocals at the very end, I thought that was Paul Bartolome, which is the new touring member that is going to replace Ben on tour. But it's not. It's actually Danny. Danny confirmed it. But if you're listening to the album on streaming, and if you're listening to the album on the lyrics video, the mix is different. Like Ben's part, why can't we accept the picture? Different. It doesn't really sound like Ben. I don't know, it's weird. So going back to that chorus with the blast beat, and the second half of the chorus is a lot of double bass action. It actually brought me back to listening to that chorus on their album Stand Up and Scream and the song I Used to Have a Best Friend. If you know the chorus, you know what I'm talking about. Next up is Things Could Be Different, and this is basically an octane core song with a lot of hard rock tendencies. The little synth part before the breakdown was very Reckless and Relentless style. Some of the parts remind me of songs off of Like a House on Fire, but not in a bad way. The following song is Let Go. This is a song that they're gonna play on tour with The Hue, the Mongolian band The Hue. It's got a very prominent Bad Omens influence. And Danny's infatuation with hooks from pop music is really showing up in this song. I thought I heard a voice that sounded like a lady or a woman singing, or is that Danny? I don't know, because it doesn't sound like Danny at first glance. It's one of the best songs on the record in my opinion. So the next song we get is Psycho. This was one of the singles off the album, but it wasn't originally supposed to be released, but the label made them do it. It's like a better version of the song Anti-Socialist from the 2020 album Like a House on Fire. And if it wasn't that record, I would have swapped that one out for this one because I am not a fan of Anti-Socialist. I love the beat switch up from James near the end of the song. It's very creative. Ironically, they're going on tour and it's called the Psycho Thunder Tour, but they're not gonna play this song live. And this isn't the first time that has happened with Asking Alexandria. Back in 2016, on a tour referencing the Black album name, they didn't play any songs off of the Black. It was kind of awkward because Danny had just came back to the band. Dark Void is next. This was the first single released from the album. The chorus is very catchy and impassioned from Danny Will Stop. That little high note that he does, that was a thing that he would do for years and years, starting back in the From Death to Destiny days when he would like do his own variations on songs. People at the time would get pissed off and do it and be like, Danny, why are you doing that for the song? Just sing it normally, bud. I love the opening riff, it's nice and simple, and I like the breakdown. His screams on this song remind me of Dustin Kensrue from the band Stripe. Yeah, I'd say that's a positive. The next song is Nothing Left. The band actually wanted to release this as a single, but the label said, nuh-uh, we're going with Bad Blood and they're putting Psycho as the A-side. Sorry, which I disagree with, man. The label really screwed up on that one because this is the best song on the album in my opinion. This is the best song on the album. There was a nice and anthemic chorus from Danny, nice double bass from James. He really kills it on this song and all the other songs on the album. They bring back the synth, good thing, and the riff actually reminds me of Bring Me the Horizon. Like it reminds me of like Shadow Moses from Doom Eternal. I like the choral build up to the breakdown with either a choir or it's like Danny's voice laid on with a choir effect. It's pretty cool. Nothing Left is the best song on the album, in my honest opinion. Then we've got the song Feel, which reminds me a lot of the band now known as Rain City Drive, but I'm talking about when they were known as Slave, when Johnny Craig was the vocalist. The only difference between this song and Slaves is that they have a jump breakdown in the middle of it, which is pretty heavy. And James is just double bass and like freaking blast beat all over the thing. Like he is the star of this record, and we talk about that later. So then you got to Let the Dead Take Me, and I like the distorted bass intro. It really reminds me of Royal Blood, the Welsh rock band. And it reminds me of the song Fame from See What's on the Inside a little bit. And there is an interesting dramatic switch up before the second pre-chorus that's pretty, I didn't expect that to happen. Once again, a great performance from James. I keep saying that, sounding like a broken record, but man, James is freaking killing it. There is sort of an Avenged Sevenfold influence that I can kind of sense because, you know, they're big fans of Avenged Sevenfold. The next song is the shortest song on the record, Kill It With Fire. It's only like 1 minute and like 15 seconds. It's really short. This one will make all the old fans happy. It certainly made me happy. It's really quick. It's a quick hardcore punk slash kind of grindcore song. It almost reminds me of Napalm Death with some slight Slipknot influence vocally, but it really throws off the album. It's a really weird inclusion. It should have been like a bonus track or something like that. It really throws it off entirely. I don't know. I know it was on the album for the old fans. I respect that, but it's just, I don't know, it's a little, throws off the album. We get to the song Holding On to Something More, and this is kind of like a Beartooth light song with some pop influences. The chorus kind of doesn't fit. It's probably the weakest song on the record, but I don't have a whole lot to say about it anyways. So we get to the title track, which is the last song, which is the only song Danny wrote for this album. As a matter of fact, it's a ballad, and it's like the moving on of this record. It's pretty emotional. You can feel everything that Danny is thinking about, and it got a triumphant back half. It probably will go hard live, and you know, it's emotional, and I like it. Overall, I have to say that where do we go from here? It's pretty messy, but it's not incoherent. There are some ideas that work and some ideas that don't. And again, kill it with fire. While it is intense and it will satisfy older fans like myself, it shouldn't have been on here. It ruins the flow of the album entirely. And as I said over and over and over again, James Cassell, the drummer, is the undisputed MVP of this album. He's doing all the fills, he's doing all the blast beats, he's doing all the double bass kicks all over this thing. People don't give him enough credit in Asking Alexandria. And this might be his best drumming performance since 2016's The Black album. Gotta give him a round of applause for that. I gotta give him a round of applause. Way to go, James. I really wish that Ben Bruce had more guitar solos on this record. I think he had like 2 really short ones. He had ones all throughout the last record, See What's on the Inside. Where is the guitar solos, Ben? I do love that they brought back the electronics and the synth, because electronics were always a big part of Asking Alexandria's sound. And the last album not having them really contributed to that record having more of a shine down, imposter syndrome going on. Well, this record, I'm glad they brought back the synth and electronic. That made it feel more like an Asking Alexandria record and less like a band trying to be another band, if you know what I mean. So, the last time I reviewed Asking Alexandria was way back in 2020 with Like a House on Fire, when I gave it a 2 out of 5, I think. I'm pretty sure. So, over the course of 2 albums, they've improved. I have to give Where Do We Go From Here a 3 out of 5. Not bad, Asking Alexandria. Not bad. Rock on, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.